Happy New Year. It is 2025, first Sunday of the year, and I'm so glad that you have started the new year. Let me just say this. If you want to work on one thing, I know there's a lot of different things that we get on our mind for setting goals. 2024 ended. Maybe there were several things that you didn't get done that you wish you had gotten done. I know a lot of times we think about different health goals at the start of a new year, which is great. You know, wanting to eat better, wanting to get exercise and those kinds of things, maybe wanting to read more. That's great as well. But if there's only one thing, if on all of your different goals that you set at the start of a new year, if there's only one thing that you're able to say, I was able to keep this commitment, can I encourage you that this is the best one to keep? This is the best one to keep. That I want to keep my commitment to God, number one, which also means a commitment to my church family. Okay? So, hey, this is a great start. Here you are today. Pat yourself on the back there. You did good. You did good. You're here. And we're so thankful for that. We're going to be spending time this month focusing on shepherding and especially praying about God calling new shepherds here in this church. Brother Dave Copeland, who is one of our elders here, is going to say more about that near the end of our service today. But we're going to set our standard by looking to Jesus first as we get started with this today. I don't know how many of you had an opportunity to go and visit family over the break. We were able to do this, and we have one grandson, one grandchild, and I don't have to spoil him because everybody else does, okay? His name is James. He's 5 years old now. He's in kindergarten, and probably the best kindergartner out there right now, I'm pretty sure. But we were together with our family over the holidays, and we got to spend some time with our grandson. By the way, in case you don't need to call me this, but he calls me Pop. He calls Heather Mina. That's our grandparent names. But we were together, and we had one of these cozy, memorable moments as we were all gathered around together. The family was gathered together, and he started to kind of reflect poetically aloud, as 5-year-olds sometimes do. And he started to say how great Mom was, and Mom was just the best mom, and Dad's great, and you know, he's just kind of naming everybody. We're all the best. We're all the best as he's naming us, you know. And then he kind of pauses for a minute as we were soaking in this moment. It was kind of like, you know, that scene in The Lion King whenever little Simba's held up. The whole family was kind of held up in this moment by our grandson. He brought us to that peak. But then he says, but none of you are as good as Mina. She's the best. Y'all are good. But she is the best. And so some of you are that grandparent, so, you know, I don't know, maybe that's good. Some of you are that grandchild, okay? All right? So we're aware of those dynamics that go on in our families. This church, by the way, is filled with great men and women, great servants. Some of them just finished cleaning up a mess just now, and we're thankful for that. Great Bible class teachers. We're standing in this stream of generations of great men and women, great elders who have led this church, great elders' wives who have served, blessed the church, cared for others. But there's only one Jesus. John 10 is so good. It's so good for us. It's so good for us as we are praying and thinking about this congregation. We're not just thinking about the future for 2025 and what does this year hold. We're thinking about the future of the legacy of faith, those who will be called by Christ. Not just those who will be called. We are praying and we are thinking, we have this focus. Lord, call those men that you want to lead as elders here for us. But Lord, above all things, let this church, let the men and women and children who make up this family, let us set our sights on the one who is the one. The Good Shepherd, the very best. So we want to take some time as we're thinking about this to look to Jesus Himself, who is the Good Shepherd. Hear these words again in John chapter 10, as you heard them read earlier. Hear this again. Jesus is speaking here. Hear the voice of our Savior as He speaks. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs in by another way, that man is a thief and a robber. But he who enters by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the gatekeeper opens. The sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, and they know his voice. A stranger they will not follow, but they will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. This figure of speech Jesus used with them, but they did not understand what He was saying to them. So Jesus again said to them, Truly, truly, I say to you, I am the door of the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. He who is a hired hand and not a shepherd, who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees. And the wolf snatches them and scatters them. He flees because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me. And I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And I have other sheep that are not of this fold. I must bring them in also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock and one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have the authority to lay it down, and I have the authority to take it up again. This is the charge I have received from my Father. The words of our good shepherd, Jesus. You know, there's a lot of things that we may have before us as we think about the future, as we think about a new year, as we think about the way you want to direct your life, some things you're wanting to do, accomplishments, where you want to go. This text is really good for us because it draws to mind the reality of what it means to be a human being. And part of it means that all of us are following somebody, something. All of us are listening to someone, to something. We really are not all that different when we get down to it. We're being human means that we have a lot of needs, doesn't it? It's not just children who are needing God to take care of them and to clothe them and provide them with food and all of those things. We have those needs. We have those concerns. How are we going to make it? Jesus is so aware of the human condition. He is intimately aware of the needs that are in your life. He is fully familiar with the things that weigh on you. He understands the things that can make you anxious or nervous or excited or sad or give you joy. He's fully aware. This is what's so wonderful. This is what's so wonderful. And Jesus is, listen, it's one thing for others to say things about Jesus. Jesus doesn't say anything that He doesn't mean here. When Jesus tells those who will listen, those who are around Him that day, and says, I am the good shepherd. And I love what He says here in verse 14. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. You know what's so good about this? Even when you don't always, sometimes it's hard for us to imagine how intimately you are known by God. Mainly because we wonder, how could He love us that much if He knows us so well, right? Jesus is the Good Shepherd. He knows you so well. He's good because He knows exactly what you need. That's why it's so important that you're choosing today and tomorrow and the next day and every day to say, there are a lot of different voices that I can listen to, but there's only one that I can trust my life with. There's only one that good. Jesus, the Good Shepherd. Sheep are interesting. One of the things that's interesting about sheep is that their vision is not really their strength. Their strength is actually their hearing. Their hearing alerts them whenever there may be a predator, whenever they need to, have the opportunity to protect, right? It's also, this may not surprise you, they have audible memory. This is interesting. So when you hear sheep making the different ba sounds, ba, and you hear them talking, they're actually able, a mother's cry and the baby's cry, and they're able to distinguish which one is calling for who. Isn't that fascinating? They have highly attuned hearing. Their hearing is really their strength. It's a part of their survival, and it's part of their communication. They are social creatures, which is why this is what Jesus really leans into whenever He's talking. And even though He's talking in the pasture language here of sheep and shepherd, which is such a powerful metaphor here, He's talking about life, isn't He? He's talking about discipleship language is really what He's using here. Who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to follow? Who are you going to trust? Who are you going to believe in? And Jesus tells it very straight. Everyone else who has been, those who've gone before, they were not it. They were not the one. In fact, the world is filled with false shepherds or false voices, right? Here He calls them thieves and robbers. And church, we need to pay attention, because the voices that dominate so much of the noise that is around us and the chatter that is around us in news and in media and name the different things that we hear and that we see that are around us that are so popular, very little of that holds the substance that gives life. Most of that is just a false feeding, right? Jesus is able to give us the real food that gives us real life here. And He's able to go ahead and go forward and say, here's the thing about me. I know you. I know my sheep. My sheep know me. They hear my voice. That's the focus that He gives here. When we're thinking about how is it that we know which one is the good shepherd and how is it that we know what it is that we're going to trust, we need so desperately to listen attentively. And one of the wonderful things that has been given to us is that the words of Jesus were so important to those first hearers and those who followed after the apostles that they dedicated time to remembering and retelling. I remember when Jesus said, have you thought about this for instance? How many years and how many generations of the church has met at least weekly to gather around the table to tell the memory of what Jesus said about His body and His blood and what gives life. The church didn't make that up. They heard it spoken from the one who laid down His life for them. And they devoted their lives to this voice, to this teaching. So I'm a preacher, so I've got to tell you a couple of these things because this is what preachers have. You need to get in the Word, right? Go to church. Get in the Word. Set aside time daily to say, I don't know what other tasks that I'll have to do today, but I do know this. I'm going to set aside time so I can listen to the voice of Jesus in the Word. I'm going to set aside time weekly so I can listen to the voice of Jesus in the wonderful sharing of community, the gathering of Jesus Christ. I'm going to listen because I know that God is alive. And that the Good Shepherd did not go away and abandon His flock. He gave His Spirit to the flock, so He continues to speak. I want to train my voice. I want to train my ears to hear His voice. I want to train my heart. I must have time. I must have time. I don't know when you do it. I'll just tell you a rhythm that works very well for me. Before I do anything else in the day, I want to start in the morning. Before I need alone time, I just want to hear one thing. That's a good time. Start. I know you got other things, other tasks, other voices. Start there. It's a good place. When you listen to the voice of Jesus, it changes how you hear things. When you listen to the voice of Jesus, it changes how you see your life. It changes how you see others. Because if you know that the Good Shepherd is the one who has laid down His life for you, and He has authority to do it, and He had the authority to take it back up again, you know that He can carry whatever stuff you've got going on this week. He's got you. Good Shepherd is really Jesus sermonizing here on a setup that happened in chapter 9. Do you remember John chapter 9? There's a man that was born blind. It was commonly believed that if someone had if was blind or had some kind of health issue like that, it was commonly believed maybe somebody did something wrong. Maybe his parents did something wrong. Maybe they had sin, or maybe this man had sin. And Jesus is quick to correct that and says, no. This is actually for God's glory. Now that's fascinating. Only the Good Shepherd can say things like this. Only He knows so well your life and this man's life. He heals the man. Here's the thing that's powerful about this story. Does the man get to see Jesus before any of this takes? He doesn't get to see the one who's healing him. All he has is what? No wonder he goes on to share the sermon about the Good Shepherd. All he has is the words of this man. He cannot see him, but he hears the words of this man who says to him, he makes mud, puts it on his eyes. Jesus gets all up in us, okay? He gets dirt. Your life and my life needs that kind of intimacy. Touches the man and he tells him, now go and wash. You asked him, what does Jesus look like? He has no idea. If you asked him what Jesus sounds like, he could tell you something. Those words changed his life. And he was healed. And his healing shook things up. The Jewish leaders who were there were concerned about this. And so they come and they interrogate the man who was formerly born blind, who is now seeing. And here's the irony here. Listen, if this year God does something wonderful and your first response is not to stop and praise God for what He has done, then we are missing it here, aren't we, church? They had missed it. This man got it. He said, that's strange. You don't know where he came from. He says, nobody's ever heard. It's never happened before. Never has someone who has been born blind been made to see. Never in the history has this ever happened before. And yet this man is the one who healed me. Jesus does something wonderful here. These are the words that lead up to the sermon in John chapter 10. Jesus comes and finds the man. And he says to him, this is verse 35. He finds the man who was formerly born blind, and he says to him, do you believe? Do you believe in the Son of Man? Who is he? The man replies, who is he that I might believe in him? You know what Jesus is saying to the church still? This isn't just a one-time decision thing. Some of us have experienced this, maybe even on a daily basis. The way that Jesus comes, He's such a good shepherd. Comes and finds the sheep where they are. He comes and finds them and says, do you believe? Do you believe in the Son of Man? Do you still trust me? If we've been Christians for, do you still trust me? The formerly blind man responds. Once he says, Jesus says, the one who is speaking to you, the one speaking to you, the voice recognition again. He's the one. And the man says, Lord, I believe. And he worshiped Jesus. The life of discipleship, you don't have to have eyes to be able to see how beautiful this is. But you have to listen. You have to listen. And you have to believe that Jesus is the one good shepherd for your life. And trust Him. I want to invite our shepherds and their spouses and other prayer leaders right now to go ahead and go to the ends of the aisle here. It could be. This is how God works. When the church gathers, Jesus has something to say because it's His flock. It could be that Jesus has been speaking to you this morning. That He's come to find you and say, listen, do you believe? Do you believe in the Son of Man? Do you believe that I love you and that I've given my life for you? I know you. Do you trust me? For those of us who've been Christians for a while, we need to hear Jesus and we need to say yes again. Do you trust me still? Do you still trust me? Some of us are needing to respond today. And our leaders are here to help us in that through prayer, through Bible study. Some are needing to call on Jesus for the very first time in baptism. And oh, how the church will sing hallelujah because we all hear Jesus' voice calling us, come, follow me. If you hear him today, if he's calling you, then come respond. Let's stand together. Let's sing.